Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Carolina Panthers 17-14. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. And welcome to the MJ Take here on Sports Fan Entertainment. Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Carolina Panthers 17-14, and I'm so sick of myself because in my predictions video, in my picks video for this week, I was going on and I was telling you, man, the Bucs might win this game, man. The Bucs might win this game, but I didn't pick them. And same goes for the Falcons. The Bucs and the Falcons were the two games that I was so close to picking, but I was too afraid to pick, and I'm regretting it now in this moment. But hey, the Bucs got it done, and honestly, this was a pretty bad game. The execution was very horrible, but despite how bad the execution was, I do think it ended up being quite entertaining near the end of the game. First of all, it was close. It was a tie game. And then there are some nice storylines in this game. Roberto Aguayo being the biggest storyline, the second-round draft pick out of Florida State, taken by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You, me, your mom, my mom, your grandmother, my grandmother, everyone was talking about, man, they shouldn't have drafted Roberto Aguayo in the second round. And up to this point, we've been absolutely right. And I don't care that he hit the game winner. We're still right. You shouldn't have drafted him. I mean, that was just too high for him. Especially, I mean, this is a guy that you can look at this statistics and say, oh my God, this guy is so accurate in college, 88%. What a bunch of BS. His longest field goal kick in college was about 50 yards, not 55, not 60, not 61, with their long, wide-ass college field goal posts. And this is a guy that missed, a number over 50 yards as well. Why are we trusting this guy? Why do we think this guy's going to be such a good kicker? No, he's not. And now his bread and butter hitting field goals within 50 yards, he can't even hit those. So we're looking at Roberto Aguayo, and he was able to make this one, but man, you're regretting that, and you should be. But hey, I found it so funny after the game. They talked to him. They gave him an interview. Why? Because he hit the game-winning field goal? No, because he was so bad throughout most of the game. I mean, the guy is shooting a 50% field goal percentage right now. That's an NBA percentage, okay? 50% field goal percentage. I wish I was talking about the NBA right now. I'm referring to a football player. That is absolutely absurd. But hey, he got the game winner. I was absolutely blown away by a number of things in this game about how bad they were. First of all, yes, the Bucs got the victory. But let me just trash Dirk Cutter for a moment. I think this guy's absolutely horrible. Self-admittedly, I have not been watching many Bucs games this season. I've caught the end of games. I caught the end of the game against the Rams, caught the end of the game against the Falcons and whatnot, watched the highlights, but I haven't really sat down and been able to watch a Bucs game yet. And I'm not sure if Dirk Cutter has been this bad the entire season, but I was absolutely blown away at how bad Dirk Cutter was today. He had no faith in Jameis Winston, and yes, this is a guy that can throw the occasional interception, but at the end of the day, Jameis Winston is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, period. It is Jameis Winston, and it is Mike Evans. No one else even comes close to the talent level of these two. You're going to go as far as these two take you. You need to trust Jameis Winston to make the throws, to get into a rhythm early. They made him look like some sort of game managing quarterback, really handing the ball off and then throwing occasionally. He's not that type of passer. He's a rhythmic passer. You need to get him in a flow, or he's going to have these inaccurate passes, these high passes. You got to get him in a rhythm. You got to get him in a flow, and I was absolutely blown away at what I thought was a horrible offensive game plan in terms of, I thought, mixing in too many runs with Chris Rodgers. We saw what Matt Ryan did last week to this Carolina Panthers defense. He threw 500 yards. You need to throw the football on this Carolina Panthers defense. And when they did, they had success. They went down, they scored a touchdown when they needed to most. And then they went back to their conservative BS. You got to trust Jameis Winston. Yes, he's going to throw interceptions against the Denver Broncos and against the LA Rams and against, the Arizona Cardinals. Those are great defenses. Against the Panthers, you got to trust him, man. You got to let him do his thing. He'll lead you to success. He'll lead you to wins. There's a nice, home game stand coming up for this football team after they go to San Francisco. And they have a bye week this week. Trust Jameis Winston, you can trust him. Do it, Dirk Cutter. And then also, I mean, we saw they ran the ball on 3rd and 9, trusted the field goal kicker, Roberto Aguayo, way too much. I mean, I was not in love with Dirk Cutter at all. And he's lucky he won this game. And like I said, they have a nice little stand of games coming up, because if they would have lost this game, I was starting to tweet, man, I'm not sure if he's going to make it through the year, because this looks bad. I mean, you look at this game and you wonder, why did they fire Lovie Smith? Because Lovie Smith was never this much of a disaster that I was seeing out there from Dirk Cutter, but they got the win, so whatever. Let's trash Derek Anderson, who was absolutely abysmal today. Wow, this might be the single worst quarterback performance I've seen this year, outside of Ryan Tannehill's 6 interception performance against Kansas City. Derek Anderson was absolutely god-awful, and he lost the game for the Carolina Panthers. Panther fans, if you're looking for anyone to blame Derek Anderson, who I believe deserves 95% of the blame today. Absolutely horrible. His 2 interceptions were god-awful, especially the last one, intended for Greg Olsen, one of the worst throws I've seen in 2016, right next to Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was god-awful. It was terrible. Forcing the ball. Some people blame, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers. I can't remember his name right now, but the guy used to be from Alabama, saying, "Oh, why didn't you, run Mike Shula? Why didn't you run the ball there?" I have no problem with them throwing the ball there. He was rolling out to the right. It's an easy throw out of bounds. There's nothing wrong with throwing the football there. It was no predetermined throw like the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. It wasn't like that. It was, hey, if it's there, throw it. If it's not, throw it out of bounds. Easy throw out of bounds in the red zone. Easy, systematic, scheduled red zone play. Everyone has this red zone play. Roll out to the right. If it's not there, throw it out of bounds. Derek Anderson, it's all on him. I mean, what a horrible throw. And then I thought the worst play was the fumble that he had. It was either in the 3rd or the 4th quarter. I mean, this guy, it's 3rd and 4. He's trying to run for the first down. Okay, good. You could have got it. But, dude, there's a Panthers linebacker. In fact, there's 2 of them right in front of your freaking face, dog. You know you're about to get hit, dog. You know you're about to get hit. And this guy still finds a way to fumble the football. I mean, dude, you see these guys right in front of your face, and you still fumbled this football. I mean, I was absolutely blown away. I mean, Derek Anderson, this is a guy that started some games in 2014, and he was decent. In fact, he was pretty good, didn't throw an interception. Today, he was an absolute disaster. He deserves 95% of the blame today. I think he was the reason they lost, and it's very unfortunate, because if Cam Newton was in this game, you would have won this game. But hey, this is where we are, and this is what happened. Let's move on. Run games were okay. Cameron Artis-Payne had some nice runs. Fozzie Whitaker had some nice runs as well for the Bucs. Chris Rogers was actually a little bit impressive. Ended up slowing down as the game went on, but they were impressive. Greg Olsen, huge game. 9 receptions, 181 yards. Huge game. I know that he loves Derek Anderson. Although Derek Anderson, another thing, man, this guy loves to underthrow. We had Jameis Winston, who loves to overthrow, and we had Derek Anderson that loves to underthrow. If you combine both of these idiots, you'd have one hell of a quarterback. Greg Olsen, though, despite the constant underthrows by Derek Anderson, found a way to get this amount of yardage. I know that he likes Derek Anderson, but he probably doesn't love him, because those interceptions were all intended for Greg Olsen. Mike Evans had a nice day, not great, but 89 yards, that's good. I mean, you get 89 yards for 16 games, you're going to have 1,400 yards in the season, so that's a good day. But, Vincent Jackson, this guy's not doing anything. I don't know if he's old, I don't know if he's not getting the reps, but man, I think Vincent Jackson's done. The Bucs need a slot receiver. The Bucs need a number 2 receiver. I think the Bucs need a tight end. They need to get more weapons around Jameis Winston. Adam Humphries, Brandon Myers, Cameron Brate. That's not good enough. I think the Bucs need to completely rebuild their wide receiver room, and they can do it because almost everyone's a free agent except for Mike Evans for those wide receivers this coming off season. And then also their tight end room. I don't like any of them. I mean, Cameron Brate is okay. Brandon Myers is okay as backups, but you need a tight end. You need an Eric Ebron. You need a Greg Olsen. You need a Rob Gronkowski. You need a tight end. You don't have one right now. That would help Jameis Winston tremendously. And I think Jameis Winston deserves a pass because of it. Honestly, I think he really does. Because, I mean, that's bad. Mike Evans is it. I mean, if Mike Evans is going to get double covered, you got to give Jameis Winston more weapons. You know, Bucs linebackers, y'all love to talk about the Bucs linebackers. Oh, they're so good. And Quan Alexander had a great Week 1 game. But look, I saw some bad plays from him today. I mean, I saw, especially on these run plays by Cameron Artis-Payne to the outside, one of them for a touchdown. In fact, 2 of them were for touchdowns. You can't allow these. And I saw him nowhere near the play. Same goes with Levante David. They were absolutely faked out. They were getting blocked by offensive linemen that got to the second level. I was unimpressed by the linebacker play today. As for the Panthers, you know, I think their defense played well. Coney Ealy is still a little bit of a dummy. I mean, he still makes some dumb plays, some bad plays. The face mask was absolutely killer. Roberto Aguayo would have missed that 50-yarder, but they made it a 35-yarder or whatever it was. That's completely on Coney Ealy, and he deserves to be absolutely chewed out for that. But I mean, this Panthers team, they're 1-4, and that hurts, man. And they still have the firepower to come back. Cam Newton, Kelvin Benjamin, Greg Olsen, they still have the firepower, but man, I mean, this is a big hole, and the Falcons are playing well. They're 4-1. You're 1-4, and man, that hurts. I mean, coming up, you guys, next week, go to New Orleans, and I'm not sure you're going to win that game. Look, the Saints aren't very good, but the Saints can spread out those receivers and throw the football, boy, and that's how the Atlanta Falcons beat y'all. I have to consider that game. I'm not sure who's going to win that game right now. And then as for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you have a bye week next week, good, and then you go to San Francisco. Do not sleep on San Francisco, because you guys aren't that good either. I had you guys making the playoffs this year. I want that to be true, but you guys need to show me a little bit more, and Dirk Cutter needs to get his coaching game up, because I don't think it's very good at all. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers Monday Night Football game. Despite how bad it was, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, and I think maybe you did too. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Comment down below. I want to know if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.